guys. So welcome to the fifth Balance is Better session. So we're more than halfway through now. Hope you're enjoying it so far. Hope you're seeing some progress as well with your balance, mobility, and stability. So today we're really going to be focusing on that progress. We're going to be progressing some of those original exercises that we've been practicing all along. We'll also be including the regressions as well. So doing, again, whatever you're comfortable with, still challenging yourself, but staying at your appropriate level. So we're also going to be changing up the sequencing today just a little bit. So we're actually starting with balance just after our activation set. So just something a little bit different today. We're going to get straight into balance, the most important part, and then go from there into arms, balance, arms, core, and legs. And that's it. Okay, so yeah, hope you're enjoying so far, and we'll get straight into it now. Okay, so same warm up practically. So starting jogging on the spot, you probably guessed at this point. Okay, so knees up, core tight, belly button in towards the spine, and keeping that nice neutral posture. Breathe into it. And in 3, 2, 1, we're going to go jumping jacks. Now, slight bend in the knee. Clapping those hands together at the top. Breathing out as your hands come up. Shoulders in away from the ears. Now, we're going to go into our deep squat. We're feeling ready and warmed up enough. I definitely am. It's a nice warm morning here in Cork. Okay, glutes engaged, ribs tucked in, core engaged, hands straight out in front of you, and sitting back into our squat. Driving through the hips, sitting back into it, keeping that chest nice and open. Standing up very straight at the top. Feet should be in train tracks. Pointing straight ahead if you can. If not, have them slightly outturned. Just a few more here to get our hips and glutes fired up a bit. Really engaging that core, getting a bit deeper every time. Okay, and well done. We're just gonna finish off with a little run on the spot again. And breathe. And inchworm. Again, one of our all-time favorites. So standing up nice and straight, core engaged, ribs tucked in. And again, bending from the hips. I'm just gonna set my timer. Okay, yeah. So bending from the hips, slight bend in the knee, gazing just below you. And then once you reach the floor, baby steps, keeping those shoulders away from the ears, core engaged, ribs tucked in. Nice full plank position here. And you can rotate here if you're comfortable, following your gaze up to the sky or the ceiling. And baby steps back up again. And curling up, rolling the shoulders. Okay, we can do that once or twice more. I'll just do it once more. Feeling that stretch through the hamstrings. Baby steps out, trying to minimize that sway. Be sick of me saying it. So really steady in our core. And again, rotate. And rotate the other way. And slowly back up. And curling up, vertebrae by vertebrae. until you're into standing up straight. Okay, good job. And roll out the ankles here, roll out the wrists. And we'll get into the workout. So balance set is first, as I said before. So just a bit different today. So we're going to start with our sitting single leg on the physio ball just to get ourselves started. Excuse me. We're going to move into activation now. Okay, I'll just get my physio ball ready. So first, we're going to do the Superwoman's. Okay, so into 4-point kneeling. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips, nice straight back. And from here, we're just going to practice a few scap dips just to get our upper back, shoulder blade muscles fired up. Get that serratus anterior fired up as well. Core engaged properly. No ribs poking out or anything. Okay, once you've done a few repetitions of this, I'm just going to bring the arm and leg movement in. Sorry, my exercise ball keeps misbehaving. Okay, so opposite arm, opposite leg. Sorry, I need to get a holder for it or something. Okay, just wedge it in here. All right, so opposite arm, opposite leg. Okay, and go. Nice stable positioning. Really squeezing that glute at the top. Keeping that core engaged. So key here is when you feel your torso rotating or your lower back hyperextending, stop lifting up with that leg. So we don't want to be getting that hyperextension in the lower back. Keep breathing through it. Slow controlled movements. Hold for at least 2 seconds each side. If not longer, go at your own pace here. Go a few more reps. Really focusing on not swaying with the body here. Keep resetting if you need to. Shoulders away from the ears. Extending the arms and legs simultaneously. Of course, if not, we can just use our arms or legs if we're more comfortable with that as a regression. So just arms or just legs. Increase our stability, making the movement less difficult. Okay, now we'll move into our fire hydrant. So this is a new one for this week. So again, 4-point kneeling, same positioning. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. So nice square here to your body. And you're just going to lift your right leg out to the side, keep it at that 90-degree angle and return it back. Key here is not to lift past the hip. If you can lift to the hip height, that's a great achievement. But if we go past the hip here, we will rotate with our hips. So rotate the body as well, like out this way, which kind of is cheating. So just up to hip height, making sure you keep that 90 degrees with the leg, keeping the body as stable as possible. So lifting it to the side as far as you can without moving the body. So try not to sway. Aim for about 8 to 10 reps each side. Keeping that 90 degree. Core really engaged, belly button in towards the spine. That's key here. Keep the torso stable. And again, other side. Start away. Make sure to keep the other glute engaged as well. And it's easy here also to just lean on one side, but try and really balance that movement with the arms as well. Not over leaning, not collapsing in with one hip or anything. Keeping that 90-degree angle. Nice long neck. And slowly back in. Good job. And now we're going to go into horse kicks. Again, 4-point kneeling, core tucked in. But here we're just going to be kicking back. So, and back in. So keeping that 90-degree angle all the time, these movements. So keeping that knee at 90 degrees and just kicking back. Straight up. Like a horse. So really trying not to hyperextend the back here. Sucking those lower abdominals in to help you with that. And squeezing the glute at the top. Gazing just below you. Again, about 8 to 10 reps here. And switch sides. Reset if you need to. Core engaged. And again, horse kicks up. Keeping that 90-degree angle. Make sure that your core is constantly engaged throughout the movement. So not relaxing on the way back down. With your core, that is. Okay, good job. So that's 2 new ones there for you. And now we are going to go into a pattern posture, as always. So again, a lot of you might find this kind of easy. I know the first time I did it, I kind of wasn't sure that it was doing much, but then once you actually think logically about it, it does set you up for the rowing stroke, and it sets your lower core up as well, really activates the right muscles there. So it is a good step to do, and especially good for rowing. Often the simplest things are best. Okay, so here again, establishing our neutral posture. We've done it in our last video, so I'll just do a quick one. So shoulders back, not forced back, just into their neutral position. Make sure you're not curving here with the back, so no C's. Nice long lower back, lower abdominals really engaged, belly button in towards the spine, ribs tucked in. Sitting up on those sit bones and arms outstretched. So mouthful there. We're just gonna bend from the hips as always, not bending from the upper back or anything like that. So not forcing the movement here, only going as far as we can from our hips. So if we find that we don't have a lot of movement here, that's okay, we'll work on it. Hip mobility has a lot to do with that as well, so it's important to work on that. Feel free to do greatest stretch in the world here after if you feel your hips are quite tight. Just another few. We'll do 1. Okay. Good job. Activation done. And now we're going to move into balance. Okay, so starting with our sitting single leg balance on physio ball. Just to start off with, okay, so I shouldn't have gotten rid of it. Romanian single leg deadlift and toe tap. So that's a bit of a different one, and single leg squat. Okay, so we'll try and do 3 rounds of that, see how we're getting on. Okay, so single leg balance on our physio ball. I'll just face you here, I think it's easier. So again, same neutral position with the spine, core engaged, ribs tucked in. And we're just gonna float one leg at a time off the ground. Have our hands straight in front of us if we can. If not, you can have them resting on the wall. So really trying to minimize any shaking with the ball here, and get that stability through the core. So if you really are holding your core tight, you'll find the exercise ball is steadier. Okay, we can just lift our heels as well. We're more comfortable with this. And progression, we can add our movements. So opposite arm, opposite leg. So slowly up and down. It's quite tricky here to opposites. So, and try and keep the other arm straight out. You might find it easier with one side. Just a few more here. 3. Engage that lower core. 2. And 1. Straight out. Good job. Okay, now we are going to do Romanian single leg deadlift with toe tap and single leg squat. So that's going to be our balance set. We're going to do it 3 times. Try and do about 8 to 10 reps of each. Okay, so hope I won't be sorry for saying that. Okay, so single leg deadlift with toe tap. So obviously, you probably know how to do the Romanian single leg deadlift at this stage. So in the other videos, we did the single leg deadlift and reach. So extending our arms and legs out at the same time. This is kind of a good balance move, and by extending the arms, we are challenging ourselves, but we are just moving straight out. So it's not as challenging as moving like laterally, like we will be. So we can do that. We can keep going with that, or keep moving with just the normal single leg deadlift. So you can have your exercise band. So lift around your standing foot, just under it, and just hold it here. And you're gonna grab onto it and just do the single leg deadlift like so, adding a bit of resistance. So this is the easiest, then single leg deadlift and reach. And then this one, the progression, which we'll be doing today if we can. Okay. So again, floating on one leg, as always, both glutes engaged, core engaged, ribs tucked in, shoulders back, nice and relaxed. Gazing just at one point, just a little bit in front of us. So again here, you're gonna follow your gaze wherever you're going. Opposite arm, opposite leg, tapping. Okay, so moving from the hips, following your gaze, reaching across slightly. Tap, pause here, lift that leg if you can, and slowly back up, moving like a pendulum. So really important here, I find, to follow your gaze wherever you're going. So instead of actually focusing on one point, you do have to follow when you're tapping the heel. Okay, again, reaching across. Oh, okay, it's okay if you lose balance a bit, regain it, and slowly back up. Fire those glutes up. And again, reaching across. You can also do this with light weights or dumbbell if you feel confident enough. I think that's 3 or 4. 5. 6. 7. And 8. Okay, good job. Now opposite side. Again, do whatever you're comfortable with. So I haven't done a lot of these, so I am just getting used to them as well. Trying to hinge from the hips, following my gaze. Tapping the opposite ankle. Breathing on the way back up. Keeping that belly button in towards the spine. So by rotating, we are really challenging our balance. Here. Oh, it's okay if you lose it. Okay. Keeping nice and calm is key here as well. Don't lose your cool. Okay, so moving from the hips like a pendulum, as always. Just doing that rotation. We might find that we have more, oh God, that exercise button has a mind of its own. You might find that we have a lot of sticky spots, yeah, so that we're kind of sticky in our movements. Sorry, I'm probably not describing that very well, but that we kind of jolt nearly instead of being very nice and fluid. But this fluidity all comes with practice. Say just there. So try and demonstrate well here. Now for the last one. Okay. Right. Now, new exercise. I hope that was okay. And if you're not feeling confident enough, do the normal single leg deadlift as a regression. So now, single leg squat, we're going to do. So this one, I am going to practice without a chair this time. Okay, so floating up on one leg. Again, ribs tucked in, core tucked in, shoulders back, nice, relaxing away from the ears. Focusing on one point in front of us, hands outstretched. And we're going to sit back into the squat, bringing that floating leg just out in front of us with a slight bend. And we're going to breathe into it. Try and do about 8. Other side, same thing. Strong core. You can bring your arms out and back if you want here. It probably does help with the movement a bit. Giving you a bit of momentum. Okay, well done. Now we're going to go back into those single leg deadlifts. So I'm going to stretch out my hip flexors here for a second. Notice that they're quite tight. We're going to do greatest stretch in the world. So if any of you want to do that, or else get straight back into, you can fast forward and do those single legs. I'm just going to be pulsing out here. I find this one really does make a difference when you don't do it as well. So I didn't do these for the warm up today, but I missed them. It is the greatest stretch in the world. Okay, so this one again is a challenge. Let's do our best with it. So the hamstrings out as well. Okay, so now standing on one leg, opposite ankle tap, and back up. Okay, and with this one, maybe just try, you can try get the movement first and then really try and extend the leg after. That makes sense. So by extending the leg up really straight, it does make it harder to balance. So concentrating on hinging. Also working the obliques here, especially as we cross over. Sure, we're coming all the way back up between each rep. Switch sides if you haven't already. I'm always surprised that I find my right leg weaker. I'm right-handed, maybe I'm right-legged. Okay. So really trying to keep that control of movement there. So not like I was in the past one. Okay, good job. It does get a bit easier as you keep practicing. Now back into single leg deadlift. Gonna practice a little stretch here, like a standing pigeon stretch, just a short little one. Okay. Again, shoulders back, nice and relaxed, core engaged, hands out in front of you, one leg floating, both glutes engaged, and sit back down into your squat. Pretend there's a chair just beneath you. Again, split squat as a regression here. Okay. And to the side. Really driving through the hips. Good job. Okay. Now back into our single leg deadlift. So I find with a lot of these balance exercises, you do really feel it in the hip flexor area. So probably a sign that we really need to stretch them out, but also keep our core engaged. So if we're feeling very, very tight, overly tight, it might be that we're overusing them in some of these exercises, or maybe you're doing a lot of running or whatever. Okay, so floating one leg, opposite arm, opposite leg. So you can tap the toe or the outer ankle here. Toe is actually slightly easier. Ankle slightly harder as you're getting that full rotation in there. Job. Opposite side. Shoulders back. Floating, both glutes engaged. And following your gaze. Just opposite toe. Or opposite ankle, if you can. I'm just going to do the toes for now. Ooh. Okay. Now, so that is our final single leg deadlift. So back into our final single leg squat. Woo! Okay. So floating one leg, straight back into it, arms outstretched. And again, hinging with those hips, sitting back into our imaginary chair. Driving back up with the hips. Take your rest here for a moment, rolling out our ankles, our wrists, even though that really has nothing to do with single leg squat, but if we need to. Okay, opposite leg. Both glutes engaged, arms outstretched, and into it again. Only as far as you can without going over your toes. Okay, good job. Well done. Balance set, all done. Now, good to get that out of the way early as well. We're not kind of apprehensive about it. So we're going to do our arm set now. So push-ups, shoulder, internal, external rotation, and scaption. We're going to do 2 sets because we don't have a huge amount of time. Okay, so push-ups first, your version. Aim for 8 to 10 reps again. Okay, as always, nice straight alignment with the back. I'm going to do mine on my knees. You do yours on your feet if you like, or whatever version you feel most comfortable. Keeping that core engaged, good alignment, and sweeping those elbows back. Slower on the way down. Okay, good job. Now into shoulder, internal, external rotation. So elbows just at your waist. Arms are going to be 90 degrees, and we're going to be pulling out laterally with one forearm or one hand, and we're just rotating to where we originally were. And about 8 to 10 reps here. You can add a little squat here if you want an extra challenge. Keeping that chest open, making sure you are. Okay, other side, 10 reps again. Keeping those shoulders down away from the ears, core engaged, ribs tucked in. Nice and slow. On the way back in. And other side. Really controlled movement on the way back. Feeling that across the rotator cuff muscles here. Very important for the catch in rowing. 10, good job. Oh, now scaption. So scaption you can do with water bottles, they're lightweight as well. With in both hands, but with the band. So just starting from here, from your arms, straight by your sides, thumbs up, and we're going to be bringing those hands up, just past your shoulders. Arms should be at about a 10 to 2 angle, so kind of a Y position. And do 8 to 10 reps here as well. Keeping that core stable all the time. So only moving with the arms. Try not to move the shoulders. About 8 there. And back into push-up straight away. Okay. Hands on your shoulders. Straight alignment. Tight core. Well done. Okay. Shoulder internal, external rotation. Core engaged, ribs tucked in. Glutes engaged as well here. And again, 10 each side. You could also do some calf raises here. We're not going to be doing them today. So if you can synchronize that movement, great. So you can actually pull out as you extend up. Keeping that core stable all the time. We'll just do 2 more here and finish the set here. Well done. Now into scaption, sorry. Okay, so thumbs up here again. Straight up, shoulders back. Bringing those arms up, just past shoulder height. And they're at a 10 to 2 position, not changing the position of the shoulders or the torso at all, keeping everything stable, just moving with the arms. Nice control movement, really nice and controlled on the way back down. And you should be feeling a pull here, so do increase the resistance on your band if you're finding it too easy. Be feeling it across your delts and upper back muscles predominantly. Okay. We'll just finish up with one last set of push-ups. So put yourself here. Try and do 2 to 4 more than you normally would. Straight alignment, strong core, and go. Push yourself. Well done. Good job. Okay, so into core now. We're going to do V-ups, 4-point kneeling. and a dynamic plank series. So we're gonna do that 3 times, and then we'll do the leg set twice. Okay, so V-ups, 4-point kneeling plank and dynamic plank series. So, okay, V-ups, 4-point kneeling plank, we'll actually only do for the first set. Okay, so V-ups, you can see me here, same as always. Floating those legs off the ground, slight bend in the knee to start with, nice straight back, ribs tucked in, core engaged, sitting up, nice and straight, neutral posture. Okay, so legs tucked in to start, torso up, legs out, torso moves back from the hips. So just moving in and out through the movement like this. Using your core to initiate that movement. Keeping those legs together. Focusing on one point in front of you. Keep going if you can. Take a rest if you really need to. Okay. And we're going to bring in the arm movement as well, if we can here. Okay, so again, floating the legs up, hands out, and hands in, legs out. And repeating the movement here, trying to keep it nice and fluid. Breathing out at the top. So really important to keep that nice straight core, nice straight back, I mean. Keep checking in. We'll do another 5, 4, keep that chest open. 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Okay. Tough on the hip flexors again. Right. So now, we're gonna do our 4-point kneeling plank for this set. So this just really gets our back set up for a normal plank as well. Really good start up. Warm-up movement. We did a bit of scap dips at the start, but we're gonna do them again because we just can't get enough of them. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips, back nice and flat, core engaged. Okay, belly button in towards the spine as always, and scap dips. Keeping those shoulders away from the ears, imagining that there's a tray of glasses balancing on the lower half of your back. So you have to keep it really stable here. Just moving through the shoulder blades. Okay, once we've done a few here, we're gonna tuck those shoulder blades back. Keep them engaged. And flex those feet and come up into 4-point kneeling plank. Gonna hold here for 15 seconds. Feeling that shake, really tucking the belly button in towards the spine. And you can float back down if you need to. Not, keep up there. And we're gonna move into scap dips. Okay, ready, go, scap dips. Up, floating knees if we can. So our knees shouldn't be moving up and down, only our shoulder blades here again. So really engaging that core. Do another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold here. Another 10 seconds, if you can. and floating back down. Good job. That's a very tough one. Across their upper back arm area there. And also our core, especially our lower abdominals there. Ooh, so that was just to get it started. Now we're gonna go into our dynamic plank series. So stretch out your lats here, neck if you need to. Take a little breather. And breathe, child's pose if you want to. Okay. And into plank, woo, okay. Wait for the, okay. Okay, so forearm plank if we can. If not, you can just do the adjusted knee plank. So like a push-up position on your forearms. If that's more comfortable for you, so that's the regression. But otherwise, try and stay in full plank. Okay, and we'll try and stay here for 45 seconds and go. Okay, so planking here, try and tuck those shoulder blades back, looking just slightly ahead of you. Ribs tucked in, core engaged. Glutes engaged. Breathing out. And we can do some hip dips here. So dipping just each side down and returning back up. If not, just stay in your full plank and floating those knees back in, or bringing the knees back in, sorry. And take a deep breath here again. Okay. Now we're gonna go into our press-up plank position. Different, initiating that strong core here, shoulders under hips, and back into forearm. And we're going to go side plank. So really pushing up through those hips. Feeling it in the obliques here, side of the body. Keeping the head in line with the rest of the body. Shoulders away from the ears. And we're gonna rotate in here and back up. Rotating in and bringing the hand back up, following your gaze. Aim for about 8 here if you can. Really feeling that through our sides, our obliques. And switch sides here. You can just switch elbows, but I'll rotate onto my other side. So here in side plank, knees stacked, hips stacked, everything stacked. You can have your arm straight up or on your side. Try not to roll back with the hips. Keep that belly button in towards the spine, driving up with the hips. And again, rotating inwards and follow your gaze back up. Rotating inwards, following the gaze back up. Again, about 8 reps here. And slowly back down. Good job. Okay, so that's a tough one. It's tough to do the 4-point kneeling, I find anyway, but straight after, or straight before. Okay. So, gonna do those V-ups again. Whew. Then into our leg series. Okay, so we're actually just gonna do one more set here. Conscious of the time. I think we have a good enough workout anyhow. Okay, so V-ups again, your version. Keeping that back nice and flat. Follow my breath. In for about 10. Good job. And plank series. Okay, so we'll go for a minute now. Breathe out and straight into your plank. And we'll go straight into side plank. And so you've hit a minute. You need to take a rest. Here, do. About 35 seconds to go. Really suck in that core in towards the spine. Engage those glutes. Take the pressure off the back. Ten seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Straight into side plank if we can. Onto one forearm. Hips stacked. And bringing that rotation. 8 each side. Keeping those shoulders away from the ears. Nice slow control movement. And switch sides. You can just flip over, but I'll do this so you can see me. Then 8 rotations. This side as well. Not rushing through it. Feeling that stretch across the spine as well. Try and follow your gaze. And get that stretch to front of the body as well, the pecs. And slowly back down. Well done. We're done for today. Last set, leg set. Let's go. Okay, so new exercise today is physio ball bridges. Also going to do the lunge. So forward and backward lunges. Just the 2 sets of legs for today. Physio ball bridges, so that just adds a bit of a challenge. We are going to have our legs up on the physio ball. So you can just do the normal bridges with this one. So like I did in the other videos with no physio ball at all, so just on your mat. But today I'm going to be trying this new challenge. So lying flat on the mat again, but we're going to have our feet up on the physio ball. So dig your heels in here for extra stability, especially when you're starting. Have core engaged, ribs tucked in, shoulders nice and relaxed on the mat. Okay, and also extra stability here. You can have your hands out wide, so you have them quite wide as well to start off with. And you're just bridging up, you probably guessed, and slowly back down. With this one, again, always trying to minimize the rocking of the ball. So I was rocking a little bit, you can see, so, but try not to, and doing that by really engaging the core, moving fluidly up and down. And pausing here at the top, low on the way back down. Okay. Pausing, 3, 2, 1, and slowly back down. Again, never flaring those ribs up. keeping those hips level at the top, check in with them. You should be really focusing on going slower on the way back down. So it should be about 3-to-1 ratio. Digging the heels in does help here. For stability. And for about 8 to 10, as I said. Okay, last one here. You're gonna hold it up as far as you can. Squeeze those glutes up a bit more. Start flaring the ribs. Shoulders nice down away from the ears. And pulsing for 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And slowly back down. Good job. So that is a very tough one on hamstrings, which are really important to work. Actually quite hard to work the hamstrings. A lot of leg movements work mostly our glutes and quads. So good to get the hamstrings in there and extra bit of balance challenge. So, okay, now what was I going to do? Lunges. Okay, so we're going to do forward lunges first. Next set we'll do backward. Okay, so we're just stepping out 1 foot at a time, forward lunging. So initiating the movement with your starter foot and then bending the back foot to 90 degrees. Again, with this one, trying to keep that torso up nice and straight, not rocking from side to side. Also, keeping that front knee behind the toes. So aim for about 16 to 20 all together here, including both legs. Okay, good job. Rolling those ankles out a little bit. And back into our final set of bridges. Try and get more done here. Core engaged, bridging off. So very strong hamstring glute exercise. So getting slightly different muscles in here to our normal bridging while your legs being elevated. Another regression here, if you do want to get more of the hamstrings in, but you find the instability of the ball a little bit too much, you can just try on a raised bench. You make sure that bench is nice and stable. Oh, try not to wobble as much as you can. And again, holding here for the last one. Getting those hips slightly higher. Squeeze those glutes upwards, tucked in. Belly button in towards the spine. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Hold it steady. 4, 3, 2, 1. And slowly back down. Good job. Okay. Now, for our reverse lunges. So, again, very similar, but reversing that movement. So, moving backward instead of forward. So, again, torso nice and straight, core engaged, with just lunging back, keeping those hips level if we can, bringing that back leg to about 90 degrees, nearly touching the floor. And again, keep those feet in train tracks pointing forward. So they should be kind of slightly staggered. So in line with your hips. Can hold dumbbells here. It might even make the movement a bit easier, keep you stable. Also adds a bit of resistance for the arms. Really engaging the core, engaging the glutes. Important to keep upright with that torso. Last few, 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Okay, so we are done. That is our 5th Balance is Better episode workout. So yeah, thanks a million for joining again. I hope you're getting something out of it and you're improving your balance or improving whatever you set out to improve a bit. Again, all about choosing your own level here. So the challenge this week, we always have a challenge, is to see how many push-ups you can do with good form. So try and keep that straight back, get a buddy or something to count, and also point out if you're losing your form, or your mom or dad or sisters or brothers. Good idea to do it through Zoom as well at the moment. But yeah, so thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye. See you next week.